What's going on, everyone? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing, and looking forward to this session today. Happy to be here. You guys are all the greatest. Looking forward to another great session with y'all. We're going to start breaking that down right away. On the news front, by the way, yeah, so Anthony, I'm going to go ahead and give my analysis over here, right? I saw that comment before. I do what's in front of me. I look at what's in front of me. It keeps me on the right side of the market. I do a really good job at that. And you know what? There's a million different things that could conflict with each other, right? There's a million different things. You got to focus on what's right in front of you. That's what I'm going to do right now. Nasdaq, by the way, under a little bit of pressure. Does that have anything to do? Did you see the House release their plan to break up big tech, right? Whether or not they're going to be able to do that or not is another thing. But is that possibly why the Nasdaq's under? We're going to look at the price action in a moment. At the end of the day, price is everything, and it serves us well. It really keeps us on the right side of the market, and we're able to navigate this. You know what? These past 6 weeks have been really difficult, right? And we have done an outstanding job. Rest of the year, we had some easy months in there, some phenomenal weeks. Right over here, it's been tough, and look at us. We're on the right side of this train right now. Let's keep going. The DXY, by the way, is just unchanged on the day, but we're going to talk about the 93.55 level holding over there. We're going to start over here. By the way, we're going to get into the pound today. We're going to see the pressure on the pound. I know we looked at the pound US dollar. I know that someone in the Conquer markets PM me this morning that they had taken that trade. We're going to look at that in a moment. But right now we're going to focus. We're going to focus here, starting with the S&P 500. Get into Brian. Hope you feel better, man. I hope you feel better. We're going to take a look at the markets and get going and find our flow this morning. Starting here with the S&P 500. There's not much else to say except that we continue to rise and stay above this trend line over here. Resistance up until yesterday, closed above it. We had a little bit of a retest below and are trading back above it now. Now, I don't know, by the way, there's also reports in the wires that the House Speaker has said that, stimulus talks are going slowly. I guess the carrot's still there. Whether or not anything happens is anyone's guess. It's all an ongoing fluid situation. We're only going to follow our best lead here. That's price. Continues to remain very bullish over here above the last bit of resistance, now turned into support. Very good looking price action here on the S&P 500. Again, targeting over here in the 34.64 area as the next area to watch how price reacts. Not necessarily take profit at all. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens if we get up there. Let's check in on the Nasdaq. Not much else to say. Okay, that's good when there's not much else to say. That means that everything's going exactly according to our plan. That we're above the channel resistance right now, right? Bullish. We tested that trend line over here and resumed off it, bullish. But we do have lower highs and higher lows developing. That's a consolidation pattern getting ready for the next move. What do, right? Right now, if you're in this trade, if you took that entry during the live stream yesterday, you keep your stop where your stop is. There's no need to tighten that yet because we haven't come up into the first area of resistance. We're targeting also, like on the S&P, we're targeting in this area around here, around 11,841. Again, watching how price reacts if we get there, not necessarily taking profit because it's all about pushing your winners. By the way, right? The right now up seems to be the thing with the most resistance. What do I mean by that? Everyone is expecting a month from now there to be absolute chaos. We've been talking about now since last week that, that everyone's positioned for this event, and the greatest risk in the market right now is that the election night is a non-event, that there's a clear winner, that there's a smooth transition of power. That would absolutely be very bullish for the markets. Markets continue climbing that wall of worry. We're not in a position that could change. It could change this week. We're not in a position where we see any technical breaks that we're looking to attack to the downside. Everyone sees how we're positioned long right now. The Dow, I talked about in last night's update that was not an area of resistance to worry about. Now trading 0.5% above it, continuing to rise over here. Still into some local resistance over here. If the Dow is able to get past this little bit of area of congestion, it then could be, a stone throws away from the yearly high. Dow's looking good over here. Not much else to say on the indexes. Everyone should have a very, very, thank you, Alan. That means a lot to me. That, by the way, and there was another comment this morning in the Telegram group. It means a lot to me when I hear that. It really gives me that little bit of a kick to keep going. So I appreciate that very much. Thanks for the kindness. The DXY over here. Let's take a look. Everyone is crystal clear on the indexes, right? Everyone is, if you've been following the channel for more than a few sessions, everyone has got that clarity. That's what we're here for. Let's take a look now at the DXY. All right, what are we looking at on the DXY, by the way? 93.55. You can see we draw on that resistance. We explained why that resistance was there, or that support level turn resistance was there yesterday, and you could see how much the market's focusing on it. What do I mean by that? You could see we closed below it, came up for the retest. That level was in play. Rejection. Made a lower low. Price came up again and again, retested that level. And again, that held as resistance. Okay? So, what do I see? Well, not much of a follow through, by the way, yet. However, the level is holding. For this to turn, for us to flip again as if this became bullish, we now have to not close above 93.55. Because you remember, if we held 93.55, that was all still bullish until we lost it. But no longer is it close above 93.55. Now we have to regain the broken structure here. We have to close above 94 for this to look bullish. So there's a lot of pressure right now on the DXY. There was these charts over here this morning. This is on Zero Hedge. They talked about the U.S. deficits going to a 14-year high. You can see that over here right now. I just want to show you the chart so you can just get a look. And the reason why is because this is, I'll show you 1 second over here. This is U.S. trade balance, goods, services, right? Even services are coming down right now. Look at that. Goods getting smashed. It says over here 2 notable things. It says, number one, it says something about inventories were built up. I think inventories were built up because of actually the trade war with China. And over here, and the COVID lockdown actually caused a lot of companies by going into those inventories, which are now weak, which means what happens if we do have further lockdowns as winter hits? Could be a shortage of a lot of different supplies. And this is what's important over here, right? Is it any wonder why the US dollar is under pressure when you look at this? All right. Just a quick note as we were talking about the dollar. What else are we looking at? KIPS, nickel. Zero Hedge reported yesterday an article that you could just do a quick search to find. And the title was that the U.S. is buying nickel miners. Search U.S. nickel miners China. And as a way so that China does not have any type of monopoly on the batteries, the U.S. is actually getting involved in buying nickel miners. I wanted to send that to you. I think I have it on my phone to send it to you, but I don't have it in front of me right now. Yeah, we're going to get into everything, everyone. We're going to get into everything, including, Jason, of course, your Euro, Japanese yen. But we always have an order flow. If you're new and you're just joining us, first of all, welcome. I'm glad you're here. For whatever reason, the Google algorithm has helped you stumble upon this wonderful community. And I hope that you have a lot to learn and a lot to add. So the first thing that you should be able to do is just sit back and watch and just be in that posture of learning. We always look at the S&P first, then the Nasdaq, then the Dow, then the DXY. Then we get into gold and silver, and then Bitcoin, and then we get into the rest of our analysis. Let's do that now and check in what's going on with gold. And you can see a couple of things. You all, like, the more that we go, the more that we do this, the more that you spend time in here, the more that as we pull up a chart, your brain is going to see exactly what I'm seeing, right? So what I'm seeing this morning is a couple of things. I'm seeing, first of all, price right now is touching that resistance. A breakout above this sets off gold, right? That sets off gold super bullish, right? Now, what else am I seeing over here? I'm seeing that price came back in and tested that 1904 level and resumed off of it, right? So again, that's exactly what I see. There's nothing else to add to the conversation because anyone that is following the stream for more than a day has the clearest view possible on gold. And again, listen, you got to tip the hat when you got to tip the hat. We navigated this false breakdown, technical breakdown perfectly because we said the fundamentals on gold are bullish. Even though it's happening, we're going to watch how it happens. We're going to play it out, but we're not taking any downside trades. We regained that bullish structure of the market. That's where I went long, right? And here we are now, possibly getting ready after the beautiful rejection of the resistance, retest of the broken level, and resumption off. You see, it's all becoming clearer. There's a lot of requests to analyze the Russell 2000. I don't at all. Someone actually even was like, there's 4 indexes. There's 3 major indexes. It's the S&P, the Dow, and the Nasdaq. The Russell, maybe a lot of people trade it. I don't analyze it, Thank you, Eco Beast. Again, that really keeps me going. You have no idea. All right, what else are we looking at? Let's look at and it's not to say, by the way, that's not to say that we can't do that maybe in the afternoon videos or start introducing it. But not in this moment because it would just interrupt the flow. And we got a good flow in this morning, so I want to keep going. All right, but for sure, that was a good reminder. And if that would benefit people, it would benefit people. Yeah. See, Brendan also is on board with that. Let's take a look over here. What's going on with silver, by the way, and you could see again. This 2450 level is what is providing that resistance. Here was one touch. And then another touch. And then again, we have another touch. And it remains the same story. We have to get above there before silver looks like it's joining gold in its technical bullishness. Not that this was bearish, by the way. That was a positive sign, that trend line holding, right? And I'm grateful, again, for Tom adding that trend line on gold, which then we translated into silver. And then someone else said, hey, clone that line and put it down over here. And you could see that fits very nicely into our analysis over here. Now, the question that's on my mind this morning is if we regain 2450, what happens next? Because you see this trend line over here? This is resistance. This should be resistance. Do you see how this line is an important line where it was resistance on the top of this channel, right? And then it came into play again over here. So my question on my mind is if we pop above 2450, and then most likely we come into that resistance, that would be healthy, a rejection, and then a retest. My question is, do I take that trade? That's an aggressive entry. Again, this is the safe entry. And as I'm doing, the reason why I talk out loud and the reason why I do this is I don't have the answers ahead of time, right? So you got, figuring it all out. So it seems to me that above 26, above this resistance here at 26, which again, remember that how important that line was as support on the downside. And then when we broke it, boom, the bleeding. I think that instead of as on gold, I looked for that aggressive entry as soon as things turned back technically. I think on silver, I would give it some more room, and it's above 26 that I would be looking to attack because we're getting above that trend line, which automatically sets that off as a very bullish event, as well as this 26 resistance. And I like it better here than taking the entry into this area of, it's 1 area of resistance, 2 area of resistance, 3 area of resistance. So that's the play on silver over there. One example, Alberto, one question as an example, if you're trading the Euro Japanese yen pair, do you look at the Euro US dollar as an additional confirmation, or do you trade each pair as itself? I trade each pair by itself. However, there's a caveat to that. It's a great question. Because we're doing our analysis and because we have this greatest instrument in our heads, the brain, the brain is also factoring in what's going on with the Euro US dollar. There's no question about it. But I'm not basing the entry or the trade itself off of what's going on off the Euro US dollar. Now, I am taking into account the strength of the Euro, also because of the Euro US dollar, but I'm taking each trade individually because what's going on the chart. All right. The other thing, and there was something else to that, there was 2 caveats. Oh, by the way, and I'll also be very cautious about taking, and I will do it, I'll take up to 2 trades on the same cross. For example, I can take a trade long on the Euro Japanese yen and a trade long on the Euro US dollar. I won't do it ever more than 2 trades because it's increasing my risk by using the same cross pair. And I'll only do that if it's like a very clear setup, because you're taking on more risk when you do that. Yeah, ML. Thank you, brother. Glad you're here too. Glad you're here too, for sure. Boom, 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 boom. All right, boom. Yeah, man. Thank you, Alan. I'm glad. I liked it too. I really do. That means a lot to me. I liked yesterday's recap video. That, by the way, fantastic analyst, in my opinion, for me on silver, and it gives me a lot of clarity. Let's keep going over here. Let's figure out what's going on with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been what? Has it been lagging everything else? If you all remember going back over here in July, right, when Bitcoin seemed to be lagging, gold and silver were pumping, right? First was gold, then was silver, and then Bitcoin, boom, beats them all, right? Do I see a similar thing happen? I mean, I do see a similar thing happening right now. I see gold first regaining its bullish technical structure over here. Silver's lagging for now, and Bitcoin also seems to be lagging as well. But that's okay. If you look at Bitcoin, a lot of people want Bitcoin to outperform every day. By the way, the only thing that's outperformed Bitcoin this year, right now, and I'm 95% certain on this, are the miners, are the miners, the gold and silver miners. Bitcoin has outperformed everything else on a yearly basis and since the crisis. So if people are wondering or think that Bitcoin's lagging, I think it's all about time preference. At least it is for me. Bitcoin looks super healthy, breaking out, retest, breakout, retest, resumption off. Now it needs to clear above here in order for that to be a true resumption, right? Because there's the swing high. We came back down. Now we are resuming off. And again, above this trend line over here, there's nothing to worry about because it's extremely healthy. If we broke this trend line to the downside, my opinion is that we're going to close the CME gap at 9,600. I do believe we'll see some wicks down there, and I believe 8,800 is, I think, as low as we go. Now, again, do I think that's going to happen? No, I don't think it's going to happen, but it's certainly a possibility. For sure, it's a possibility. So, yeah, James, it absolutely is. Oh, and by the way, so I know what people are looking out for that video about how to best navigate, how to best trade the Bitcoin bull market. And it will come, but there's simply no rush. You see me not FOMOing, right? Why? Well, I mean, listen, we're not even close to we have a lot of time. I'm not even worried about it whatsoever. There's no reason to FOMO. I'll get the video done. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Bobby. Yeah, Bobby. Man, thank you for that. And Ethereum, by the way, I don't consider an asset, but but Ethereum has outperformed Bitcoin on the yearly basis. And will that continue again? I do believe so. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on in Ethereum really quick. Nothing. So when Ethereum breaks above 390, by the way, let me come back over to here. It was on the DXY when I was saying to you, listen, on the way down over here, the level that was important for this bullish structure to continue was 93.55. And as long as we were above that, that was still the counter trend breakout. But once we lost that, now 93.55 is no longer the level to regain the bullish structure. It's now 94. Now, it's the same thing on Ethereum right now, right? Ethereum, the level was 360. 360 was the start of the bull market over here, because if you go back over here, we consolidated below 360 over here. That's where my mouse is right now for 2 years. And once we broke above it, that's when the bull market began. But now let me come back over to the 8 hour. Here's 360. And you can see that we've came below it to 324, which is held 2 times. It's all very bullish. However, for Ethereum to really regain its breakout over here, it now needs to recover 390, not just 360. All right, once we get back above 390, then I think that the party gets started on Ethereum again. I don't think it's too far off because, again, my thesis has always been alt season begins 6 months after the Bitcoin halving. We're coming right up on that. So everything's looking good over here. You could also see, by the way, if you're tracking Ethereum on a small time frame over here, I would have this like this trend line over here, and it looks like we're getting ready for a breakout above that. Is that a reverse head and shoulders? I mean, it might be. It has the structure, but I'm just forget the head and shoulder business. You just need the trend line. Just follow the trend lines over here. This is following price along the market structure of support and resistance with the help of trend lines and chart patterns. By the way, I'm glad I saw that comment. I missed a lot of great comments. Wait, if 1,300 people in here, if you're in here, if you're having a good time, if you're learning something, if you're having a sip of coffee or tea as I take a sip of matcha, go ahead and smash that like button over here. Let's keep this going over here. I appreciate it because it does help support me and the channel. Of course, we'll look at XRP in 1 second. Let's finish here with Ethereum. There you go. That's actually the plan over there. Is XRP up on the XRP is look. Let me just step back for a second. Do you see this trend line over here? There's a beautiful break above it, right? And now you can see us trading above this area over here. Look, I just have to add, but by the way, if you clone this trend line also, hold on, by me going ahead and doing this, you should see clearly where your trade's at, right? You should see clearly where your own trade is at. I'm here to help provide some clarity. Yeah, there's a ton of like hidden gems and nuggets that are shared depending on what the market's sharing. And yeah, as Miguel knows, the more you pay attention, the more you pick up on. So as this is what we're looking at over here, right? And it's really this outer trend line over here that sets this off. But you are now broken out over here and you have this support. This was resistance. It looks like it is being retested right now. The break is this trend line over there. Listen, whether you want to hear it or not, be very cautious on XRP. Yes, I had a lot of my closest friends, childhood friends, lose a lot of money on this. They got in at about 10, 15 cents. They held it through $3. And then they exited, somewhere around 20 cents or whatever 3 years later. Listen, this thing could rip to the upside. Look, you forget about this. This was during the mania. It could happen again. Look at this rip. Look at this rip. Look at this rip. It's hard to short this thing because it could rip in your face. Look at all these rips, right? That's why they call it Ripple. Oh, the company's Ripple. Oh, by the way, the company Ripple owns the vast majority of the float. And guess how they fund their company? It's by selling XRP to retail investors. Is that something you're interested in investing in? I don't think so. Be very careful over there. I know a lot of people are very tied to XRP and or the parent company Ripple, but very, very careful over there. Chainlink is under attack this morning. Let's check it out over here. But yeah, I see it. I mean, this looks bad, right? There's nothing else to say that this was probably the best performer all year, right? Look at that chart. Look at that business. And then it had a steep and severe correction over here. And it's trying to regain its footing over here. I would say there's that standing right now at $9. It's some pretty important support, right? And, if it, I don't know, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. It's got massive work to do here before it regains its footing. But you saw this little pump over here. This was 30% one day and then 10% the next day. So, it could recover quickly. This is an important level. If it loses this level over here, then watch out because $7.70 is in the cards for sure. All right. B-Hawk, check it out. By the way, I'm glad you're here. First, check out the beginning of the live stream. We look at every day the S&P 500 followed by the Nasdaq, then the Dow. We're thinking of adding the Russell by popular opinion. But then after that, we look at the DXY and then gold. By the way, if you look at the gold analysis today, everyone's on autopilot. Silver gave a very good look, which is followed by gold. Go ahead and do that. We're going to get into FX right now in a moment. I just want to get my awareness right now as the markets are opening. I don't see much of a change right now. I don't see much of a change since we last looked at them. So I'm just going to keep going. But the U.S. equity markets are opening right now. And let me catch up over here because the comments are way down. By the way, just my own, I want to add to the conversation because this conversation's coming up. I don't know what the market's pricing in, a Trump win or a Biden win at all. Actually, I was thinking about that as I made my coffee and tea this morning. And, a lot of people think that the markets are pricing in a Biden win, but maybe the markets would be trading at all-time highs if they were pricing that in. I don't know who they're pricing it in, and it really doesn't matter. We're just going to follow what's going on here. And instead of building up a narrative and trading around a narrative, we just follow what price is doing. Thank you, brother. Thank you for sharing that over here. Yeah, Doug. I'm glad I saw that comment then. Thank you for that. Thanks for being part of here. Yeah, Mr. Blue Box, congratulations. That's worth celebrating. Congratulations. Yeah, Model 3 Life. I appreciate that. Trend lines are very important. It goes in this order: price, followed by the market structure of support and resistance, with the help of trend lines and chart patterns in that order. Yeah, straight from a scientist. Nickels will turn into dollars. That right there is a meme. That's a great meme. Nickels will turn into dollars. Memes rule the world, by the way. Thank you, Tone Loke. Tone Loke. All right. What else are we going to add over here this morning? Let me come down over here so I'm following in real time. Thank you for being over here. Tesla and Square, some good bets over there. So when is Vimo and everyone else going to join in on Square's party and start offering the purchase of Bitcoin? These other payment processors have to be looking at Square and being like, oh my gosh, they're making massive revenue, increasing quarter over quarter off of Bitcoin. When are we going to get on that party? Yeah, unfortunately, that's true over there. I saw that comment. Let's keep going over here. And my dream is, anyway, let's keep going over here. Bitcoin, we already take a look at it. Let's get into FX this morning right now. By the way, gold right here coming into the resistance, this trend line resistance, a break above sets off a technical breakout of Bitcoin, which will take us into 1976. By the way, on the upside, I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't need to do that until we break out above this trend line. But the next thing I'll be talking about is the resistance over here at 1976, if we do get the breakout, and also watch this trend line over here. Remember this massive uber bull trend line over here? That will come back into play. I'll make it darker because that should be resistance on the upside. We have to watch for that to be resistance on the upside. We're not there right now. All we're doing is looking at the beautiful move into resistance, the beautiful retest of that broken 1904 support, the successful retest and resumption back out, now challenging the trend line for the breakout. Bruno, there's so many great platforms to trade Bitcoin with, but I think you're better off buying and holding Bitcoin than trading it. I think you're much better off trading FX that we're going to get into right now. By the way, there are some comments for those in the Conquering the Markets group. Some of them, after spending a month in the course, then decided, you know what? Let me focus in on FX. And then since, what was it, the comment off of Ben's, 3 or 4 months in a row of positive gains. That's exceptional. Buy and hold Bitcoin. I use Blue Bottle. Whoa, 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 whoa. Nick C, Blue Bottle in the house over here. All right. I saw an email about that. I haven't tried it yet. I'm a huge fan. You know what? As I was saying over here, I use BlockFi. There's a link below in the description. For the past 3 or 4 months, that's the only way I've purchased Bitcoin. I absolutely highly recommend it. And let's get into FX. We'll start over here. Let's look at the pairs we flagged yesterday before I see what I have to remove or whatnot. The yen, by the way, was pretty bid today. I'm just looking over my yen pairs as I get started over here. Follow my train of thought. It's just what's developing today. I see that the yen is a little stronger. It's mixed. The yen is mixed. I did read that the Swiss franc was the strongest pair today. I see it stronger than the dollar, and I want to see it versus the yen over here. It's just everything's kind of mixed as we begin this analysis right now. There's not much movement over there. Any secret group? It's not a secret. We offer a trading course over here, the Conquering the Markets group. The details are if you click the description below, right? And you'll see the information. We do have a training session, a live training session this evening. That's at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. That's to help those that are in down under those in New Zealand and also in Asia, to give them a shot at getting some live training sessions in. The replays are always available. Let's keep going over there. Boom, boom. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. This is still into some resistance over here. Not only into resistance, you can see that gives a signal over here as price made a lower low off the resistance at a preferable time of day to trade. So that is something worth watching. That was not something that I was interested in. Again, it's a matter of, look, this analogy, if you haven't heard it before, it's like a surfer sitting on their surfboard, watching the horizon, looking for the set of waves to come in. Waves come in sets. They come in groups. So do setups. And these are my yellow flags of the setups I looked at yesterday. And then at night, later in the evening, somewhere in the middle of the Asian session, I go over the things that I have flagged, and I look for what I think might be the best setup, the best wave to ride, and then I narrow it down. It's not a question of taking all setups. You have to first be able to recognize setups, and then it's a question of learning to take the best ones. Let's look at the Euro Japanese yen. And what are we looking at over here? Yesterday we were looking at, so by the way, and we talked about in the live stream yesterday, if you missed it, that the Canadian dollar Japanese yen was setting up for a possible long, right? And the possible short below resistance. And the Euro Japanese yen was setting up for a possible long as it was closing above that support resistance turned support over there yesterday. And you could see that since then it has come back and retested it and resuming off. So actually giving a long signal right now. You have two conflicting signals. And you also have, by the way, then a stronger euro and a weaker Canadian dollar. But you could see here that there's two conflicting signals against the yen, where the Euro Japanese yen is giving a long signal right now, a long entry signal, and the Canadian dollar Japanese yen is giving you a short signal. You also have to be aware of that, and that might tell you trading against the yen is not the best route to go, since that the yen is not weak or strong, it's moderate. And maybe you want to be focused on the Euro Canadian dollar. Let's just look at it, right? Euro Canadian dollar right now, look at that, is coming into some nice resistance over here. A break above that resistance, by the way, that then sets up a conquering the market setup over here and something to look out for. That's not happening today. Maybe in tomorrow's session. I just want to flag this a different color so that we come back and look at it. I'll flag it green. That way we come back and look at it tomorrow. Let's figure out the Euro Japanese yen, right? Again, this is the same thing on the Euro Japanese yen. And by the way, last night it would have been, which one do I want to trade? The Euro US dollar or the Euro Japanese yen? You do not take them both. But over there, you closed above the resistance over there. Nice. You closed above the resistance over there. Retest. Look at that. Retest into the broken resistance. Confirmed it as support. Resuming up. Hasn't given an entry signal yet, though. Well, let's check out the pound Japanese yen. We're looking at this over here for a possible long trade over here. But that's all we've had is the retest of the broken support. Broken resistance. Confirmed it as support. But I wouldn't take this trade because it would be making a higher high in no man's land. So this is just as important as anything else. This is resistance. This is support. Are you going to take an entry over here? Not me. That's taking an entry way too far away from the support. By the way, you buy off support, you sell off resistance. Euro Swiss franc, we'll take a look in 1 second. No, daddy. Elliott waves, no way. This is, by the way, for anyone interested in profiting from the markets, forget everything else you know. This is the way. This is the formula. This works. Elliott wave, is it interesting? Probably. Is it like string? What is it called? Not string theory. String theory. Super interesting. Probably. But it's all very subjective, right? This is just a simple formula that really takes something extraordinary, string theory, that takes something so complicated and makes it accessible. And it gives everyone an opportunity to profit from the markets. All right. So, those that have ears to hear will hear. And those that want to spend some more time struggling will spend some more time struggling. So let's keep going over there. By the way, the whole point of that is never take a trade that's too far away from support in no man's land. All right, that was the point of that. Pound US dollar. This is something that we were looking at. We were seeing that the DXY was breaking down, and we also saw that the pound was lagging. Right, we saw that the pound was lagging, and that the pound, why the Australian dollar US dollar and the Euro US dollar were above their resistance, the pound was below it. So we said if the dollar regains that 93.55 level, I'm going to pull up the DXY in 1 second so you know what I'm talking about, which it didn't. That might be the place to attack the pound US dollar. The pound gave a definite short signal over here, but it did not do that with the DXY regaining 93.55. So that's a hint that probably that's not the trade you wanted to take. However, look what happened this morning over here. Now, Bloomberg is reporting, this is on Forex Live, is reporting that the EU has no plans to offer concessions, right? For the Greek exit deadline on October 15th. Instead, they're trying to call Boris Johnson's hand that he's bluffing on leaving the EU without a deal. Okay? This is why that's why there's pressure on the pound this morning. By the way, big shout out to the first thumbs down of the stream this morning. That's a big deal over there. Appreciate that. And I could see why, for sure, why the thumbs down came at the time it did, because, right, I'm sure you're aware of all this that was going on, and that's a good reason. But over here, you could see now the EU, this is why I've said stay away from the pound, because it's you're dealing with an event right now that is too volatile, that a headline could change your position drastically. Right now, the EU is saying, all right, well, we're going to call your bluff. We're going to call your bluff. And you know what? Let's see what Johnson does. Now the ball's in his court, right? What is Johnson going to do? Is he going to walk away without an agreement next week? If that happens, that's a huge risk event for the market. All we can know is what the event is and see how the market reacts. Could that be a reason to send gold flying? Yeah, for sure. Gold would definitely right now on some pressure because of a hard exit, a hard Greek exit would definitely be bid. We'll just keep following what's going on with the price. All right. Let's keep going over here. Where are we right now? We just had some entries on gold. By the way, BG, the best thing to do when you ever want to know what's going on with gold or silver is pull back on that red stream. Come back to the beginning where we talk about gold and silver. Look in the center of your screen where you see, the symbol. Look back to see XAU and then follow there and then come back and join us live. For every thumbs down, there's a thumbs up. Yeah, that's all good. Either you see it or you don't. I can't help you. I could only guide you. All right, so that's a look at what was going on over there with all the pounds, with all the pairs that we were following. Except the Euro US dollar. Oh, we did look at that, but it just gave a retest, but it didn't give an entry. I still see Forex flat. By the way, this is very important. I see Forex flat, and with good reason. I mean, what's going to happen from here? Are we going to go to a massive risk-off event, or are we going to, get through this and continue to pump here and risk on? For sure, there's a reason right now that the markets are a little bit unchanged and flat, because the direction is not really there right now. S&P giving back its gains for the first 15 minutes, coming back right now to test this trend line over here. A resumption off, by the way, does that give a new entry for the S&P 500 or a place to add to your position after now closing above this trend line over here, right? The entry was all the way down over here. This is where we took the entry Friday on the live stream, right? Now over here, came back and closed above the resistance. Stop losses at break even. Do you take a new entry over here, add into your position? Or if you're not involved, do you take an entry? It's a signal over here now, closing above. And then you have a down price bar if this resistance holds, right? And resume back off. What's going on with the Nasdaq over here, which has it's now unchanged after having pressure on it all night. Here's the overnight session over here. Nasdaq had pressure all night. All it did was come back and retest this trend line, which was resistance. Flip now into support, resuming off of it. Our entry was on the live stream yesterday, right over there, right? Just trying to get a feeling for what's going on over here. The dollar has not yet had any follow through after the retest and hold of 93.55. But still pressure on the dollar. No, I don't. J20 trading, I don't at all, because I'm not concerned about what other traders are doing. I don't actually think other traders have any edge whatsoever on myself. I'm not interested whatsoever what other traders are doing at all, and I don't want their positions to influence me. Gold, boom, boom, gold. Again, everyone knows what's going on in gold over here. It's coming in, testing the resistance over there. The next entry on gold, by the way, would be a breakout and then a retest and a resumption off. This is a bullish event over here. Is it possible, and it's only on gold, we don't ever take breakouts. It's a very low probability trade. I've seen it happen on gold a couple of times this past year where there's a breakout on gold. I'm sure it's going to happen in Bitcoin also, where the breakout gets away from you without a retest. That might mean the next retest doesn't come into all the way into 1976. It's possible. It's possible. That doesn't mean also that you might get a breakout over here. This was our entry was down over here, and since then you've had a retest, resumption up. You might get a breakout, and then you might get a consolidation event, and then that gives you a possible entry as well on gold. This is a big deal, though. A break of this trend line could really send gold. All right. What else are we looking at over here? Thank you, Mo. I appreciate that. Anna, we don't ever talk about, this is not, no advice is giving like that whatsoever. If you get yourself into a position, first of all, if you get yourself into a position, you better understand why you got yourself into that position. And most importantly, you should understand where you're exiting that position. And it's impossible to even size your position if you don't know where you're exiting that position. That's number one. Number two, you should know exactly where you're looking to take profit and or exit the trade. Otherwise, the best thing that you could honestly do, this is what I would tell my closest friend and or brothers, is just sit back and watch these streams with us, follow the afternoon updates until you do have that clarity. If you're listening to someone else tell you when to enter, exit, sell, or buy, you will never make it. Australian dollar, Japanese yen, let's take a look over here. That's some really, James, that's almost too high of a winning percentage over there. So for real, it's too high of a winning percentage. So great going, but make sure that you're not taking profits too soon. All right. But either which way, I'm glad that the analysis is helping you know what trades to take and what trades not to take and how to manage them. That's awesome. Australian dollar, Japanese yen, let's take a look at it over here. So the first thing I'm asking myself right now is what's going on. So I'm following over here, this resistance line over here. We traded above it, right? You could see that it was that trend line over here, which should be a tad smidge up that held as resistance. This is right now has the possibility of being rate tested as support over here. If this holds as support and you resume off that is a buy entry to look at. That's something I'll be watching overnight. Oh, well, let me remove my flags over here. And let me flag this. And let me flag the euro Canadian dollar. All right. This is offering a possible buy entry over here. As we came in now, you can see where my mouse is actually. Look where the resistance is. Follow the mouse to the left. Follow the horizontal touches right here. That's what acted as resistance after the break above this resistance. We came back in and retesting. A resumption off gives a buy signal over there. What else? Rex, what are you looking at? Head and shoulders on. Again, I try not to look for head and shoulders, right? I'm just following the trend lines over there. But over here, I don't see a head and shoulders myself. I'm not saying it's there. I just don't see it. Australian dollar, US dollar. What's going on over here? This is the area that I'm focused in on here, that resistance over there. You got to get above it. You got to get above it and then flip that into support in order to look at that for being an entry. I don't see it yet right now. By the way, you could see you could see last night as we were watching price over here, when price was trading up here during, it never closed above that resistance, right? That's why you look for it never closed above that resistance, so it never broke that resistance, right? That's why you look for the break of the level, then the retest, and then the resumption. Someone said Powell's speaking right now. Let's see. Markets remain mixed and unchanged. Markets across the board kind of remain very much unchanged. What are they waiting for? I'm not sure. So Australian dollar, US dollar right now. Are you looking to sell here, a rejection of this resistance right now? For me, no. Why? Well, because the US dollar, right? Come back to the DXY. The US dollar needs to regain its bullish tint over here. That's a close above 94. So I'm not really looking for that to sell the Australian dollar versus the US dollar. However, by the way, also last night we had the the Australian Central Bank rate statement over there. There's the volatility. Get back above here, close above that resistance though, and then retest it and resume it. That's an entry that I would very much be interested in taking. It's still got time. It's not there today. Powell's in 1 hour. Thank you. Yeah, let's look at the Euro Australian dollar. Euro Australian dollar, by the way, all right, is in a range. Do you see the range over here? It's going back since June over here. It's been in this range. I don't like to take anything that's trading in a range. Why? Because I'm looking to push my winners. How do I push winning trades? It's by looking for trades that are in the midst of a breakout that could go multiple resistance or support levels. This is not that. Get above this area over here, though, and that opens up a new possible range over here. Get below there, and that's the same. But right now, again, we talked about when it was into this resistance. That's why that line's there, and it was rejected, but I wouldn't take that trade because I don't trade sideways markets. Could you sell resistance and buy support in a sideways market? All day long you could do that. I don't do it, though. So there's not much to add to the conversation there. And if you're looking at the pound, the pound Australian dollar, again, you're dealing with the British pound right now, which is dealing with a high volatile instrument because right now it's crunch time as the UK has sent this October 15th deadline. And right now you see the EU is saying, well, we're calling your bluff. So we don't know what's going to happen over there, but do expect a lot of volatility. I don't know. So be hawk the best, no. I don't. Sometimes if a central bank is going to be raising or lowering rates, that's one thing that you could trade off of that. Most of the time when it comes to news events, the best thing you can do, the best posture you could have is to go ahead and understand both sides, see what the print is, and then see how the market reacts. That's the important signal. It's not try to what is Powell going to say and try to take a position before that. No, it's the opposite. It's find out what is introduced, if anything. Is Powell going to say anything? Probably at best, he's going to be like, we need the government to provide stimulus, right? So that's not really anything new. The market, if he says that, there's a possibility the equities could sell off a little bit, being like, come on, lawmakers, let's have it. But I'm not really focused in on that. I'm focused in on price. Let's take a look at, by the way, the US dollar Swiss franc and see what's going on over here. I'm going to clean this up a little bit. So the first thing this is what my eyes are trained to do. I look at this little bit of a swing high over there, and I say, why did the market stop up over there? All right, why did the markets peak over here? So I put my mouse there and I look to the left. So you see over here, let me put it back. You see over here, I put this line here because this is I'm trying to find the bottom over there. And then I saw the touch over there. Okay. You could see if I extend that line where it is though, you could see that the market did come back and challenge that. It's a valid line. Let me draw it in. Let me clean this up a little bit. Let me just take this one. I want to keep that in. Just bear with me 1 second. Let me put that line back exactly where it was. I tried to find wherever the bottom peaked out over there. And then I had the touch over here. And now you can see there's another touch over there. It's a valid line. But I want to know why the market peaked up over here. That's what I'm interested in knowing, right? And I look over here and I see, just follow my mouse over there. It's kind of fuzzy. It doesn't really give me any type of guidance. So I'm not going to add in a line over there. But where are we at right now? Is the market finding a little bit of local support over here? I mean, maybe, but the best thing that I can tell you right now is I don't see anything. I could tell by the cadence of my voice. I could tell by the uncertainty. And that means for me, I'm just going to stand aside and not do anything. I don't have any type of edge whatsoever right over here on the US dollar Swiss franc. Anything. Boom, 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 boom. Rod, you got a black screen? I don't know. Maybe press refresh. Maybe press refresh. Thank you, B-Hawk. Do you ever buy at support or only break of resistance? Yeah, of course I'll buy. So, Carl, I mean, great question. Really simple and really crucially important. If you ever noticed, I think humans are just wired to go ahead and try to pick tops and pick bottoms, right? But that's like an extremely expensive gambling habit. Don't ever do that. The first thing you have to do is tell yourself that you're never going to do that again. And then the second thing you need to tell yourself to do is that what you do is you buy off support in uptrends and you sell off resistance in downtrends. If you can make those two adjustments, you've already increased your chances of making it as a trader. You will be more successful. But so you're saying, do I buy off support? Yeah, in uptrends, I'm always looking to buy off of any retest of support. All right. What else are we looking at over here? It's been a good session, by the way. Kips, did you find that podcast, ARK Investment, when they talked about nickel and the batteries and the importance of? So what else are we looking at over here? Dollars now taking another look at 93.55. Again, it's not a break of 93.55 in my opinion anymore. We got to get back above. What is that nonsense? We got to get back above 94 for us to get bullish again on the dollar. Let me just keep extending that trend line up because you could see that could provide double resistance right over there if we get up there. Markets are what? Completely unchanged, undecided, with no edge. That could change a lot in the next hour as we go into the London close. That's for sure. Thanks for smashing the like button. Carl, thank you for that. An earthquake will hit Japan. Yeah, let's take a look. We looked at the US dollar, Canadian dollar yesterday. Let's see what's going on with it today. Again, I don't have much to add to this. It seems like the US dollar, Swiss franc. It seems very similar to what I just looked at with the US dollar, Swiss franc. I did say as we came into that resistance over there, that support, that broken resistance, and that was the first time I said, I would not do it. It's not for me, but if anyone wanted to go long, that was the place. And then I said yesterday, well, now it's time to take profit as the US dollar, as the DXY was breaking down. I don't have an edge whatsoever. There's nothing. I don't have an edge whatsoever. And that's kind of important to know. If you do not have an edge, then you move away. That's all. I don't have anything to add. I think you're kind of in no man's land, actually. I think you're just in no man's land. You can see over there, if I follow my mouse, that's local support you're at. Why do I say local support? You got a little bit touch over there, a bunch of touches over there. You're into some local support, but in no man's land. Not much else, to add over there. New Zealand dollar, Australian dollar. It's been a long time since I've checked in. Let's take a look over it. Why don't I see it? The trading view somehow rearranged all my pairs yesterday, putting them in alphabetical order. I had to spend a bunch of time figuring that out. There we go. It's probably up here, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. So this looks like actually a place over here where I'm retesting this trend line over there. You can see that you can see the beautiful price action, lower highs, but you can see that we're retesting that channel over here. If I zoom out a little bit, I mean, it's definitely bullish since the March low. That's a nice area, strong support that it made a good stand over here. And now we are testing that trend line over there. I think that for me to get bullish on this pair, though, at this point, that it's got to regain that resistance over there. And not only just regain it, right? Flip it into support. And that's a place that I would become interested in that pair. I'm not interested in anything today. I'm not interested in anything today. Australian, let me check the two pairs that I'm watching. This is actually the only thing that I'm mildly interested in. The Australian dollar, Japanese yen, if this holds tonight, right? That's the only thing that I could say that I'm mildly interested in. What about if I were to get a signal in the next hour, would I take it? Yeah, I would. That's the only thing I'm mildly interested in. Euro, New Zealand dollar, no man's land. No man's land. What do I think? I think it's really dangerous to get caught up in the whole deflationary, inflationary whole narrative because you're dealing with some macro events that you could have traders holding a line of thought, or I'll call it a narrative, for years before they're proving right. It doesn't really it doesn't give you an edge in your trading whatsoever. Now it's darn fun. It's probably one of my greatest passions is understanding and following macro. But as far as you being a trader and looking to profit from the markets, that's something that's probably going to confuse you and get you on the wrong side of the market. Let me take a sip of this matcha over here. Let me take a break and reevaluate over there. I mean, so by the way, I mean, this is what so Russell is a leading market indicator, right? And there's plenty of desire, obviously, for us to add the Russell to our analysis. That's all well and good. But when you say it's a leading market indicator, what do you mean by market? Because like, are you saying that the Russell leads the S&P, or that I would have a greater advantage following the Russell if I'm trading the S&P than I would trading price alone on the S&P? Or are you talking about the overall economy's health? I mean, that's a definition of terms that would have to be defined before I was able to go ahead and buy that, myself. So yeah, Peter Schiff, pick a macro thesis and then try to yeah, you could be right once every 8 years. That's what I think you're talking about when you talk about the Russell being a leading indicator of the economy, not the market, right? You could say the Russell is a leading indicator of the economy that I would buy. Let's take a look at her. Let's take a look at it. So, right, this is my first look at it. The first thing I'm looking at right now is, right, huge resistance right over here, which is awesome because if it breaks, what does that mean? Follow my mouse over there, like start over here, the resistance, right? And then over there, that beautiful touch, and that's where we are, right? Let's add a line in over there together. And that's a resistance. Red. What else was my eye attracted to? My eye was immediately attracted to this, right? And then I see, like, is that a megaphone developing over there? The rejection of this resistance could be very ugly, right? Is that happening? I don't know. Figure it out as we go over here. Where's some support that I should really be interested in over here, right? This is an area of strong support. Let me draw that in. My eye is focused here, but I don't want to make that ugly for you. Let me draw in a trend line over there. I'll make it light, just because my eye was, that was where my eye was immediately first drawn to. So let me draw that in like that. Let me just make that a little lighter. All right, what else are we looking at? Let me focus on the daily time frame over here first. The first time looking at it. Oh yeah, we could get in and look at some individual stocks in a second over here. All right. What else? Is this big support down over here? This is very big support over there. A break below this level would kind of be a little scary. Let me draw that in over there. All right. What else on the upside over there? What resistance are we looking at? Big resistance right over here. All right. This will be our initial look right now. All right. By the way, this is all you need, anyone. This is, you want to have definitely from wherever price is, the first two resistance levels away and the first two support levels away. That gives you more than enough to work off of. All right. So this is the daily time frame over here, right? You can see right now, definitely got some resistance to overcome over here. It's big resistance, right? And, you know, not much else to say right now. Let me go ahead and I'll add that over there to our watch list. Oh my goodness. I laugh at you. But does that give me an edge? Does that give me an edge on the markets? It depends how you define markets. If you're talking about maybe saying it does not for myself, zero. All right. Now, if you're saying it's a leading indicator of the overall health of the economy, well, I don't know. You're talking about over here, the Russell 2000, right? 2000 small cap businesses. What's the new economy? For me, the new economy since, you know, post-COVID is what, like, look at Amazon, right? What's more important for the economy today, Amazon or 2,000 small businesses that might or might not be here tomorrow? We're living in a new world. I don't know. It's okay. I don't have to agree, and I don't. But you know, we'll look at it, and I'm glad to offer whatever insight I can to offer, because I can do that off of just price alone. No, Linda Lim. I'm not. No, that's for you to decide. I could offer my analysis. I could give you some clarity, and hopefully, then you can. But if you're taking positions, you have to know what position you're taking, why, where you're getting wrong, where you're getting out because you're wrong, right? Those are very, very. And if you don't know those things, take the course. You will gain massive knowledge and clarity about the markets. The you know, having a plan to trade is absolutely essential. So Amazon, you could see also into some resistance right over here, right where my mouse is, right? And we're kind of in a holding pattern. There's nothing else to add. We looked at Amazon, right? When we held this area of support, we looked at Apple at the same level. We broke below it. We regained it. There's not much else to add at all. There's nothing else to add over there on individual stocks. And that's the market right now. The markets are kind of in a little bit of a holding pattern this morning. NVIDIA. I mean, so James, that's all dependent on the overall market as well, right? That's also very dependent on the overall market as well. If the equity markets are going to be able to continue this bullish structure they've regained over here, then of course you're going to see further gains on individual stocks. If the markets come under pressure as we come into this, you know, unknown risk event 1 month from now, you know, will you see a dip, a correction across the board? If you do, it's probably a buying opportunity. Again, the only thing that I'm watching overnight right now is the Australian dollar. Right there. That could actually give a signal, by the way. sometime in the next 15 minutes. Aside from then I avoid it. That's it for the trading for the day. Although the last hour of New York does provide good signals, they're far and few between. It's not often you get a trigger. Yeah, I mean, Eugene, there's no question about it. But there are some people who are trading like a decent account, let's say like $60,000, and they don't understand. Like, can you imagine the extraordinarily minor investment in order to have a huge edge and clarity on the markets? But that's all well and good. It doesn't matter. I do believe watching these live streams is enough to improve anyone's trading. That's been actually proven. There are a lot of people who just watch the live streams. That's all you need. But if you're interested in a jump start, working closer with me, taking my course, having a strategy that you could follow and trade, there's no price value on that. But that's it for that right now. Yes, that is true. That copper is definitely a leading indicator when it comes to the overall economy. You can see that copper right now is consolidating. It's consolidating. I don't really have a great edge on it. The best thing I could see did you see this consolidation pattern over here? Right? And I could see right now that's also happening over here. We have 689 likes. I think we're going to call it a session. I would love to hit 700 before we get off, but it's all good in the hood. We have a live training session tonight. An email will be sent out, as well as we'll be going ahead and updating. I don't see that. It's not clean to me at all. I was going to try one more thing. It's not clean for me at all. If it's either, I'm not going to force something. It's either there or it's not. Yeah, that looks better. I guess it's just this for me to keep it really simple on copper at the moment. You got to clear back above the $3 resistance over there. Clear above it, that I think then there's an opportunity to look to get involved in it. Right now, out of all the assets that I've looked at, of everything that I've seen, I'm seeing today as just an indecisive day. That's a huge clue. By the way, knowing when not to trade is an enormous edge and will improve your bottom line more than forcing trades and taking trades just because you have some gambling habit and feel like you need to be in the market, or feel like you need to be in the market in order to make money, except that you have this problem that you keep losing money, so you don't understand how that works. By going ahead and only taking the clear trades, the high probability trades, by using the patience of a predator, you're going to go ahead and increase your overall profitability. Again, when it comes to trading, I think why most people have a hard time profiting from the markets is because it's just the way the human is wired. You have to almost flip everything on its head in order to have the edge, the psychological edge needed in the markets. All right, everyone. Thanks for the session. I told you, right? Yesterday I said I think we were performing at a 75%. I think today we're back above 90. One day, that's what we needed. Here we are. Thank you all for being a part of this community. Thank you all for making this community. I really am grateful for all of you and the joy you add to my life. I love starting in the morning. I love seeing your guys' positive, contagious attitude. Thank you so much. And I'll talk to you all this afternoon. I think the outro music is coming. Rich, thanks, brother. It's true, but it's there. Why it's there for those that are interested. And then one day when it's not, it will not be. Copper's neutral. There you go, Kips. That's clarity. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate that. Hey, that's a great. By the way, that is amazing. Because most people that are new to the markets are trying to trade. Can you imagine learning, having that open posture of I want to learn before trading? Amazing. I applaud that. I wish I had that when I first started. 1 week into the course, Jordan's approach will allow you to be successful with life balance. That's true. That was one of the most important things, is being able to live a life. I got into the markets because I wanted freedom. financial freedom, freedom with lifestyle. And then all of a sudden, I'm trading 3 and 5 minute time frame glued to my screen for hours on end. That was ridiculous. This allows people who work full time, people who have big families, people who have many interests to be able to go ahead and profit. All right, kids, we're gonna add that for now on into the regular live stream. All right, Russell and Nickel have now been added 100% on that. I'm gonna go ahead and add it to my watch list in just 1 second. Thank you, brother. Thanks, Robert. I appreciate that very much. God bless you too. Positive we stay. Thank you so much. Great session. Really enjoyed it. You got it, Carlos. That's right. That's right. Teamwork. Thank you. Steering away. Danny, watch the replay if you need to, brother. Watch the replay if you need to. But if you're not, I look forward to being there working with you. But that's, again, we try to do that once a month now. Then we go back to our normal 10:15 time. That's right. That's right, Dean. Right? The cost of, yeah, absolutely. Alvaro, thank you, brother. I wish it showed the dApps over here. I love the dApps. I wish it showed them. Oh, Mike, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. There you go. Thanks for always picking up those little nuggets. Joe, that's good. Joe, that's awesome. Joe, that's great. Gemma, thank you. Well, nobody knows. Let's see who wins the election. Let's see how the dollar reacts. All we need to do is follow what's happening with price. We don't need to know what's going to happen. We need to follow what is happening. Tom, looking forward to getting into that, the GBTC. Thank you for sending that. I needed to do that this morning when I'm at my best. Chris, you rock. Ooh, bacon, eggs, and coffee, John. Thank you, James. Right? I feel that with you. Yeah, because oil's worth avoiding right now. Thank you, Vindesh. Thank you so much. B-Hawk. Kips, we're going to add it every day now. It'll become a staple right now. We're going to call it the Kips train. Thank you, Max. Nick, it was a good one. Thank you. There you go. The course plus a little time is the best ROI. I agree wholeheartedly with all of myself. You got it, Doctor. Thanks for being over here. Mr. B, Wendy, everyone, have a beautiful day. Thank you for this session. Thank you. I'll talk to you all later.